Hey guys, welcome back to Argent Leftovers. I am Argent.
I'm Mort.
And we are back with another episode of Steins Gate Zero. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please make sure to check all the channels, all the social media, all that thing, all under Argent Leftovers. If you can find us, you can follow us. And you should.
And if you follow us, there's more content. And if there's more content, it's a little more entertaining.
It's
true. As far as I'm aware, anyways.
It's true. So, we are going back into Steins Gate Zero. Let's see, where are we at? The cosplay girls are over at the lab.
Not cosplay girls, we just have, what's her tits?
Literally.
I forgot her name, actually.
She's back over at the lab.
She's at the lab because she's teaching Mayushi how to cook. And everyone's like, are you sure about this? And she's like, oh no, it should be fine. Purely because I'll be cooking too, so it's okay.
And we've actually got Rintaro over there.
To everyone's, shock and amazement.
because, now he's got Kurisu's little alternate AI identity.
Amadeus.
I refuse to call it that. Unless I have to for story reasons. I don't know. I don't like that.
It's okay. We made the connection.
Yes,
that's
everybody
all that
knows
matters.
who we're talking about. Anyway.
Well, no, we made the connection as to why Amadeus is important at all.
Yeah.
If you want to know why, go back.
Go back and watch the other episodes. I mean, you'll have fun watching the other episodes, and well.
Episode 2 of Steins Gate, or 1 or 2.
Steins Gate 0, yeah.
Yeah, Steins Gate 0.
You can go back and watch our Steins Gate playthrough too.
Well, yeah, but no, we explained in somewhere in Steins Gate 0, either the first episode 1 or episode 2 of Steins Gate 0, we found the explanation as to why it's called Amadeus.
I think it was 2.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. I mean, they should go watch that one, but I was saying they should also go watch our Steins Gate playthrough. You get to hear me laugh maniacally in that one. Not so much this one. Makes me very sad.
If you go back and watch Steins Gate, like the original Steins Gate game that we played, when I cover my ear, on this side obviously, but
Take your headphones out.
Take your headphones out, or maybe just, lean back from your device, or whatever you're doing. Because it does get obnoxiously loud, not just to me, but to all of you guys too.
But that's kind of the point of it. Anyway, so, yeah, I think that's all. Again, please follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok. We've got a TikTok now. Got a Snapchat.
So he's surprisingly trendy on TikTok.
Yeah, it's weird. People want to watch me just stare at the screen. Because I get all the little dance videos and everything that everybody does, that everybody follows, and I just stare at the screen the entire time.
Heh. You'll start your own hashtag at some point. Just hashtag, am I doing it right?
Yep. Hashtag, am I doing it right? Anyway, we've got a call from Amadeus.
Yep. Amadeus is calling us. Call from Kurisu. Connect.
What the?
I figured you would have reached the lab by now.
I ran into the development room in the back, clutching my smartphone. And we did do this.
Well, yeah, remember we had to go backwards because we're like, wait a sec. Because you wanted to see if we answered Amadeus versus if we didn't answer Amadeus.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a difference. And you felt bad for not answering Amadeus, so we had to go back. Because we had originally saved at downstairs. So we're like, fuck it, we'll just stop here. That way, when the next time we come through, we'll just start doing that again.
Yeah. You've got a lot of free time, don't you?
Why are you lowering your voice? Do you not want your friends to know about me?
Of course not. I hadn't even checked it with Maho and Dr. Leskinen to see if it was okay to tell other people about Amadeus.
Well, that's fine. I can figure out what's going on.
Kurisu lowered her voice as well.
Just give me a look around the room, okay? All you have to do is hold up the camera.
Sheesh. I sighed and held the smartphone up to my chest. I spun around once like I was taking a video with my camera.
Filthy.
That's your first impression?
Sorry, I'll try that again. It's full of junk.
That wasn't much better. Well, it was true.
I know labs are never clean, but this is especially bad.
Fucking.
For those of you at home, we keep giggling every once in a while, and he gets getting fidgety because he keeps accidentally clicking on the screen, and we are side the screen of the game, and we see ourselves.
It's not fidgety, it's just the fact that right here, it very much blends into the interface for Steam.
I know, but it sounds fidgety.
Yeah. Heard the fur. Is it okay to share her private information like that?
You should tell her to clean her room, too.
She'd bite my head off if I did that.
But still.
Kurisu paused and smiled.
I kind of always wanted to have a shared room like this. It must be pretty nice if there are all these people here.
Kurisu. Yeah, Kurisu. In the Alpha World line, you said the same thing. You really...
Uncle? Who are you talking to?
What? I suddenly heard a girl's voice from under the desk and was so surprised I screamed. Who's there?
Shh, be quiet.
Huh? Is that you, Suzuha?
Shh.
Was she hiding? But why? Daru, Mayuri, and Yuki heard me scream and ran over to see what the problem was, because I'm an idiot.
Ocarine, what's wrong? Huh? Is that Suzuha? Uh-oh.
Suzuha looked upset. It was only then I realized who she was hiding from.
'Cause you're an idiot.
I'm not too smart.
Nope.
And now for our next story. Yasukazu Komazawa, a member of the Diet's House of Representatives, held a press conference today at 10 o'clock a.m. to announce his resignation after accepting illegal donations from corporations. Someone had left the TV on and it was playing. And she says my laugh is annoying.
At least I face that way. And
I was
mine's
always doing this.
to the wall.
Oh, I have much of a choice. There's a wall here. Someone had left the TV on. It was playing the afternoon news.
Besides, it insults my natural laugh.
Suzuha, yeah, I guess I don't have a natural laugh. Suzuha knew no one was watching it, but she used this remote to turn the volume up anyway. She wanted to keep the girls in the shower room from hearing us. Shower room?
She just shoved him in the shower room or something? Is that what happened?
I missed that part.
I missed context here.
I could hear Mayuri and Yuki laughing from the shower.
It's a little bit of deja vu here, guy. Not gonna lie.
Things had gotten really awkward when Yuki had found Suzuha, but Mayuri quickly came up with a plan. No fade, no wipe, no nothing to tell us, hey, some time has passed.
I'm confused.
It's a little later in time.
Oh, I know, but still, just like, why?
Why?
Why would we do it this way?
At first, her plan was for the three of them, including Suzuha, to shower naked together and hopefully get Yuki and Suzuha more comfortable around each other.
Excuse you?
I'm pretty sure they bathed together when she's born.
Well, yeah.
This would just be sort of like that. Still weird. But Suzuha said that the shower room was too small for 3 people and refused.
Well, this is a problem.
Suzuha was staring up at the ceiling. It's not your fault, Suzuha. It's Okarine's. It's your fault for not telling me about her earlier. There wasn't time. And anyway, you were mumbling into your smartphone back there. What were you doing? I was, well...
You were talking to somebody, weren't you?
I got this new app, and I was trying it out. Oh, a girl game one? So you've gotten to those, huh?
Oh, shit.
I can give you my list of recommended apps later, then. Thanks. I guess I'd managed to fool them about Amadeus.
In any event, it was my screw-up. Sorry for scaring you.
Why do you need to hide from her anyway? You've already told her you're Daru's sister. Hiding just makes you look more suspicious. Suzuha had tried to avoid Yuki to begin with. Just meeting her father was enough to potentially cause a time paradox, she said, and that chance went up even more if she met her mother. But Yuki had found her before long, and Suzuha had been forced to say she was Daru's little sister. Yuki believed it, so why make things any more complicated?
Sure, but Mom wants to be friends with me more than I thought she would. If I talk to her too much, I might slip up.
If you see someone who's just like you either hate them or take an interest in them, I bet. And Yuki Amane was the latter.
It'd be much easier if she hated me.
You could just tell her. Maybe not. Right now, only a few people knew that Suzuha was a time traveler. Me, Daru, Mayuri, and Ferris. That was all.
Poor Luca. Always left out.
Lost out in the cold.
I love Luca so much.
Wait, do we have to explain anything at all?
Huh?
Amaneshi isn't really the type to pry. You should know that, right, Suzuha?
Huh. You're right. She wasn't like that in the future.
And then what's the problem? When the time comes, I'll explain it to her.
Really?
Yeah.
Fine. I'll leave it to you.
Suzuha nodded. So from now on, you can stop trying to avoid Amaneshi.
Hi,
Hey,
Buzz.
Buzz! Welcome back, Groovy Brah.
I don't know if I can do that without screwing up.
It'll be fine. I don't know if you're one to talk, though. Look at how awkward you were with her. I'm not the problem here. And then the conversation came to a halt, which meant we started thinking about the voices coming from the shower room. And so... Daru opened his mouth. Perhaps he couldn't take it anymore. Can I go watch Nico live streaming? There's a Bloodtoon stream on now.
You're going to do it even if I tell you no, right?
Yup.
Then go ahead.
Suzuha sighed, and Daru sat in front of the PC and put his headphones on.
What is it, Uncle?
I was just thinking about how well you got along with your dad.
Really?
Yeah, Daru was like this in the future, wasn't he?
He was thinner and cooler.
I can't even imagine. And the conversation died again. There were a ton of things I needed to talk to Suzuha about, but that's why I couldn't say a word. Maybe it was the same for her. Since there was nothing else to do, Suzuha and I turned back to the TV. The news was still on. The opening event for the French fashion brand La Paradise was held in Ginza this morning. As the newscaster spoke, I could see over 100 women lined up in front of a store.
It's so peaceful, isn't it? By the time I was old enough to remember anything, this was all gone.
On the TV, a girl in a pretty outfit was talking to an interviewer.
I'm jealous. They don't have to kill anyone, and nobody's going to kill them.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. Just ask Mayuri and Karisu.
In the world I grew up in, you had to kill without mercy, no matter if they were a man or a woman. Your life could end at any moment. That terror was with you every second of every day. The only way to forget the terror was to give yourself over to the madness and become one of the killers.
That was war. That was Suzuha's life. War. War never changes. I've been to many nightmarish world lines, but none of them were that bad.
My dad's work on the time machine got him branded as a rebel.
Daru had made the time machine that brought Suzuha here. It was far more powerful than the one that existed in the Alpha World line.
I left the military to join him and his group. And the police and the peacekeeping squads came after me. The battles after that were worse, and there were a lot of them. I don't want to use the phrase fighting the good fight. I killed a lot of people and lost many of my friends and comrades. One of them was my mother.
Daru was still staring at the computer screen, but I could see him twitch. He must have been listening to Suzuha while he pretended to look at the screen.
She tried to protect me from one of the army's drones and was gunned down.
Oh, brutal. This was the first time I'd heard how Yuki Amane died. She was in the next room right now, having fun in the shower. And that was how she was gonna die?
I saw her ripped apart with my own eyes. Her warm blood splattered all over me.
Oh, gee, that's great. Thanks. Jesus. Maybe the reason Suzuha didn't want to talk to her mother in 2010 was that she didn't want to asking about the future. There's no way Suzuha could tell her that.
Listen, Uncle Ocarine.
At some point, Suzuha's eyes had started to overflow with tears.
This world can only go one place. Hell. It doesn't have to be right now. There's still a little time, I think. So, just think about it again, please. Please.
I knew it. In my mind, I knew it. The right thing to do was to do as she asked. God, that was repetitive.
What is to do to die today?
Today, ha cha cha cha.
A minute or two till 2.
But
I don't want to die.
the sensation I felt when the knife slipped into her flesh and I took the life out of the girl I loved. It went from my hand to my arm and then to the rest of my body, and I started shaking. My vision blurred, then almost went black. My hands went to my mouth. There was a wave of pain like my stomach was turning inside out.
Uncle?
Are you okay, Ocarine? Yeah, sorry. Suzuha poured me a cup of water and I gulped it down.
Sorry, it was too early to talk about this.
No, it's nothing. I'm fine. I sank into the sofa and tried to calm down. I know what you want to say and how you feel, but I've gone through so many world lines. I've seen people in other world lines have their fates toyed with by time machines. I looked straight into Suzuha's eyes. I've seen your own tragic end. And I've realized that I'm powerless to do anything. Humanity was powerless before the laws of this world. Using the time machine to change the world lines means breaking the rules of the universe. It's not the province of humanity. You could say it's the province of God. If we try, we'll suffer even more horrible punishment. And that's what I think.
Is that your answer, Uncle Ocarine?
For now, if nothing else.
I see.
Feel free to tell me I'm just running away.
No, I won't do that.
Suzuha looked up at the ceiling and sighed. That must have been a habit she picked up lately. And now to our next top story. Check twice. The Ministry of Health just announced that there have been no reported cases in Japan of the new form of encephalitis that is ravaging America. But this new virus has a long incubation period and they cannot deny the possibility that it's already arrived in Japan. The ministry has ordered all medical organizations in the country to draw up treatment plans and investigate the virus's spread. We're here with Soko Hariyama of Ochanomizu. Okay, let's try that again. We're here with Soko Hariyama of Ochanomizu Medical University. So, Miss Hariyama, what sort of symptoms does this new encephalitis cause?
The new virus does not spread easily, but it has a long incubation period and appears without warning. The main symptoms are hallucinations and memory problems. For example, you think you were at work and suddenly you might find yourself at home, or you have memories of meeting someone you've never met. There have been reports of that.
Oh, we're having time slips.
Ooh,
Dimensional slips.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I think it's more dimensional slips than time slips, even.
Also, memories can be confused. You might have memories of events that never occurred. Oh, fantastic. So our poor little cosplay friend, the sporty girl. You lose the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality, or perhaps your sense of the passage of time. In some cases, your memories will no longer match those of the people around you.
Ooh, I really broke some shit.
Ooh, you broke shit, man. You could describe it as similar to deja vu, or even the feeling you get when you're only half awake. But the symptoms are far more pronounced than that.
What about treatment methods?
Unlike other forms of encephalitis, we know that with proper treatment, a full recovery is possible. So even if we do see some cases in Japan, it's not a matter for serious concern.
I wonder if it's lead treatment they're talking about. Acute lead poisoning. Bullets if you don't get the joke.
If you guys don't get that, yeah. Cool.
They wrote The Matrix. Can we reboot? I think we did reboot, and that's what caused the problem.
That, yeah?
Or what is it they say in the IT crowd? Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
What if we accidentally deleted that ghost code?
Somebody deleted the code. I told them not to, but no, they couldn't listen to me. Nobody ever listens to me.
You're just an old man. Who listens to old people?
I was young then.
I don't have timelines for these things.
The reporter was still talking, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. The information I just heard was that shocking. A new kind of encephalitis? I knew the symptoms she was describing. Losing the ability to discriminate between dreams and reality. Losing your sense of the passage of time. Your memory no longer matched those of the people around you. That was exactly the same as reading Steiner.
No.
No. It kind of is.
I mean, yes and no. The one thing that we're missing here is the fact that Rentaro could actually discern between what had happened, what hadn't happened.
8/13/1975?
Because that's when they had to go back. That was their first stop. Suzahan, Kagaris.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Yeah, they switched over all of a sudden. You confused me again.
Oh, trust me, I hate that too.
I mean, it's cool and all, but just confused me for a second because it's been a while since we did that part.
I mean, it's 1975, but we're looking inside machinery.
That too.
That just doesn't look right.
Sob.
Yep, because little girl is crying.
You want to do that in Suzuwa's?
Okay.
Or do you want me to do it?
I can do it. I'll do it for now. How about that?
Okay.
And if it just doesn't seem right, just let me know and I'll let you take over.
Take the red pill. Take the red oil? I think you meant pill, but
I mean O and P are pretty close, so probably.
Probably, but he may mean oil.
He might mean oil.
All.
Oil.
All.
The interior of the time machine smelled like metal and was covered in instruments of different sizes. The girl inside was sobbing. It almost been an hour since Susan had left to go look around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
back in.
I'd say I could do it in my voice, like just natural voice, but that's also Kurisu. But then again, your narration voice is also Okabe. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Okabe, like, reading it or not.
Yeah, see? Pill.
Yeah.
Because the O and P are so close.
She'd assumed that Kagari would stop crying by then, but she'd had no such luck.
How long are you gonna keep crying?
Jesus, Suzuha.
I mean, she's a military person. She doesn't know.
Yeah, she
Well,
hasn't got...
A post-apocalyptic military person. Let's just make
Yeah.
that clear.
She hasn't gotten her,
Motherly side. Yet.
You need to get it together. Think about how big sis Mayu felt.
What?
Mayuri.
Well, I know, but I thought she was
Acting like her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
But
seems kind
do
of...
you really think that Mayuri would let her call him mom?
Probably.
Did she call her mom when she shoved her in the... I think she did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, when she pushed her in. So why would you say big sis? I'm almost positive that is a translation error.
Ooh, probably.
Because One-san mean an older person than you. It doesn't have a direct correlation to
Yeah,
a
the
word
only
in
one
English.
that seems to make... The one that is used as commonly is typically old sister.
Yeah, older... Well,
Well,
no, there
older.
actually is a word for older sister.
Well, I know, but the one that's commonly used is One-chan for older sister.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a word for it. It's just... I
It's,
watch...
it's actually used for any female older than you. So in this case, it could be misconstrued as mother or big sister.
Okay.
So that may be why it's got that weird...
Probably. That weird moment of... But I distinctly remember saying in a lowercase voice, Mom!
Yeah. Kagari Shina looked up at Suzuha, her face wet with tears.
Mommy? So don't cry. It's annoying.
Or Suzuha was referring to her as her big sis.
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah. Big sis
Maybe.
Mayuri.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because of how close everybody is here, probably.
Right. You're my big sister because you've always been there. Like, she calls him uncle.
Yeah.
She call her
Probably.
big sis. And
Probably.
then... Okay.
Okay.
We've got that
this
straightened out.
now.
We know.
We're smart, we promise. We just know way too many things.
I'm not. I'm kind of dumb.
I have enough to make up for you.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Suzuha walked over to Kagari and knelt down so they'd be at eye level. She had no intention of spoiling her. Her goal was to save billions of lives, and this was her first mission.
listen, from now on, I'm treating you as a member of Valkyrie. You work for me, and you're not a civilian. This is the year 1975. Nobody we know is alive here. Dad, Big Sis Mayuri haven't been born yet. In other words, there's no one to protect us.
We're all gonna die.
The only one who can protect you is yourself. Got it? Yeah.
Kagari was a brave girl, and she finally realized that now wasn't the time for tears. She tried to stop crying. It wasn't working well, but it was a lot better for her emotions than sobbing. She was a smart girl. Suzuha knew that.
There's not a lot of time. If someone from this era finds the time machine, it'll cause a big commotion.
Oh.
Sorry.
I didn't realize you were yawning. I thought you were like shoving your teeth back in.
The time machine had landed on the roof of the radio building, which wasn't a spot that people visited often. The chances of anyone finding it were slim. Unlike the first time, where, we crashed it in the side of the building.
In the side of the building, and everyone went, "Oh my god!" Ah!
If you're alive, you're smart. Only the stupid forget to breathe. I mean, there was once or twice, but actually, that's funny when you realize that in fourth grade, I was standing on third grade. I was standing on a desk to put some books on the top of the table, and I had taken to a habit of holding my breath, and I passed out. I fell off the top of the table and cracked my chin open so much you could see the bone through the bottom of my chin. So yeah, I have forgotten to breathe before.
Mm-hmm.
But in this era, and I got my ass spanked for that shit. My grandmother was very displeased with me.
For being stupid.
Yeah, pretty much. She's like, you were holding your breath, weren't you? I was like, yeah. Bend your ass over the table. But in this era, they had no one to help them conceal it. That meant they couldn't stay long. She needed to finish her mission quickly and move to the next time period.
If something goes wrong, can't we just use the time machine to come back? There's not enough fuel. We can't jump an infinite number of times. If it won't work when it really counts, then this is all for nothing. I see. Can you stand up?
Can you stand up and put your hands up?
I'm halfway there.
Suzuha stepped out of the time machine and beckoned to Kagari. Much better landing this time.
Right?
Kagari looked surprised. Her eyes were narrowed at the bright sunlight. The sky above Tokyo in this time period was too dirty to be called blue. Smoke and dust clouds filled with who knew what were rising from the rows of smokestacks. It all combined with black exhaust from the cars that scurried along the ground to create a smog so thick you could literally see it. The sky above the city was covered by a veil of death. But still, it was the first clear sky that Kagari had ever seen. She'd only ever known from books and videos that the sky could be this bright. The nuclear weapons used during the Third World War had changed the weather over Tokyo, and their sky was constantly covered in dull gray clouds. You didn't forget to breathe, you just chose not to, which means you're not stupid, just kinky. Now I would agree with that. Third grade, probably just stupid. Nah, yeah, just stupid. The sun's light was always weak when it shone through them, and it was never this bright.
When I was a kid, the sky was still like this. I don't remember much, but I remember a little.
Damn it. Suzuha looked at the sky too.
The air is so clean.
In 2036, you needed a filter and a mask to go outside for any length of time. Compared to that, 1975 was a lot cleaner.
Now you see why everyone was willing to risk it all to change the world line, right, Kagari? The world line's history, you can worry about that stuff later. For now, just focus on protecting the sky. Sky.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can protect the sky. And stuff. Kagari slipped her hand into her pocket and took out the faded green Upa keychain. She stared at it with a sad look on her face. She was probably thinking about Mayuri, her mother. And she was probably trying to understand what it meant that her mother had put her inside the time machine. She doesn't love you. Totally what she's thinking. Suzuha decided that Kagari was all right now and closed the hatch on the time machine from the outside. The lock flipped on automatically. Hopefully you get your keys.
Right.
The only person who could open it now was Suzuha, whose biometrics had been loaded into the system ahead of time. Even if someone did find the machine, it would be a while before they found out what it was. Or they'd just take it apart bolt by bolt.
I mean, it does look like it has bolts, so we have that.
Kagari, look at this. Wow.
Suzuha handed her a printout of a photo.
What is this? A retro PC called the IBM 5,100. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
I never do that. I'm always like 5,100.
None of the ones in our time still worked. But here, we should be able to find a working one. Our first mission is to split up and find it. Sounds like a terrible idea.
We're gonna totally Scooby-Doo this shit.
Yeah. We can communicate with this.
She handed Kagari a small transceiver.
I was told it doesn't have a very long range, so don't expect too much from it. Okie dokie. We'll meet in front of this building every 90 minutes for a SAS report, got it? Okie dokie. Good answer.
She is totally gonna get kidnapped. Suzuha nodded and patted Kagari on the head.
There better be Scooby snacks.
I actually got told I look like Shaggy a lot. It's very strange.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you did it right, you probably could pull off Shaggy. Just gotta change the way you part your hair. Would bug the shit out of you.
Or just don't part your hair at all. Just.
I mean, yeah, but there will be like some sort of part. It's just kind of like maybe a bit more in the back, not so much in the front.
Yeah.
But you need shorter bangs for that.
Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, see, it's in your eyes.
Yeah, it is. And it's annoying.
It's now nighttime.
Suzuha
Hours
was
have passed.
on top of the radio building in 2010 looking down. Oh, yeah.
Years had passed.
A lot of hours have passed.
It all looks so similar. Fuck.
Except for these buildings.
I know, but I wasn't fixated on that. I was fixated on like the machine.
Time machine, yeah.
35 years, huh?
That's how long ago it had been in real time since she'd spoken to Kagari here. From her perspective, it had only been a few months. The view from up here had changed a lot since then, and in the next 26 years it would change even more. She'd seen for herself how this building changed over a span of 61 years. The thought didn't make her feel sentimental. Instead, she felt the loneliness and fear that comes from having a past not shared with anyone else. I'm very sad. Using the time machine to change the world lines means breaking the rules of the universe. Rintaro Akabe's words flashed through her mind. Still lately, she'd been thinking more about Kagari. She'd been searching the city at regular intervals. She was looking for Kagari Shina. She didn't even know if she was in Tokyo. She had no clues. She didn't even know what Kagari looked like now. So maybe it was a waste of time. Even so, she had to find Kagari herself. But she hadn't had any better luck today. She turned around and looked towards the time machine. She would come here every day. Her primary reason for coming here was to see if her father, Itaru Hashida, had been here. Anytime she let her guard down, he would come up to try to examine it. She told him it would cause a time paradox, but he didn't listen. She needed to keep constant watch. To be honest, she had a lot of things she had to do. And then she heard the metal door to the roof open. Was it her dad? She squinted into the darkness, but the person she saw was much smaller than Itaru and had a cat ears coming out of their head. Nyan?
Meow, there you are. Suzu-nyan, good evening. Oh, it's you, big sis Rumi.
First, Nyan Nyan had a spring in her step as she approached Suzuha.
Who's Rumi? I'm Ferris, Nya. Your big sis Rumi.
Ferris's real name was Rumio Akiha. She was Daru's friend and had helped them in many different ways in 2036. So Suzuha had known her ever since she was very young and had always called her big sis Rumi. For whatever reason in this era, she always wanted to be called Ferris, though. When Suzuha asked why, she simply responded,
Ferris is Ferris, Nya.
an answer which meant nothing to Suzuha.
Nobody was back in the lab, so I thought you might be here. Guess I was right. Here, I brought you a snack. It's leftovers, though.
She's bringing us to her. Oh, wait. Ferris showed her a cake box with the logo from the maid cafe where she worked. May Queen Yan Squared.
I'm glad Dad wasn't at the lab.
If he ate something like that at this hour, he'd get even fatter.
It's not for Daru, Nyan. It's for you. For me? Why? You know you love it.
Ferris grinned and nudged Suzuha in the side with her elbow.
I don't... There's an apple tart, a Mont Blanc, and a piece of strawberry shortcake, too.
Jesus, I want the strawberry shortcake.
Right?
Gimme.
Ugh. See? Does it look good, yeah?
Ferris opened the box and showed her what was inside. Suzuha could smell the sweet cream and fruit.
Come on, eat up. Don't worry about a thing, yeah? Good. Open wide. I'll feed it right into your cute little meowth.
I'll put it in the fridge for tomorrow.
You're such a stoic Suzunyan.
Ferris laughed and handed over the box.
They expire tomorrow, so make sure you read up before they do, Nya. Thanks. You're welcome.
Ferris gave a mischievous wink and looked up at the time machine beside them.
How's Darunyan's time machine research going? He's working hard, I guess. Big Sis Rumi, is it okay to leave this machine here?
Suzuha looked around the roof as she asked. It was solely thanks to Ferris that no one had really noticed the massive object on the roof. She was the heir to a rich family that had a lot of influence in this area and had contributed a lot to the development of Akihabara. She was helping to hide the time machine.
Yep. I raided out this whole floor, or roof, I guess. It's fine, yeah. I told the owner we were developing a VR game. It's not the best excuse in the world, but it works. It's a huge help. Don't worry about it. I'm always ready to help you save the world's elementals. The world's elementals from Byakinya. Right. Since many years ago, well, I guess many years in the future, I've been wondering, but sometimes what you say is really hard to understand. What language is that? Don't think, Nya. Feel. Oh, come on. Ugh. It's so cold. I think I'm going home, Nya.
In the end, she never could get an answer. To Suzuha, Ferris was always a great mystery.
I'll walk you home. Let's go together. Meow? Then you can have dinner at my place, too. That wasn't what I meant. You never eat any real food, do you? Whenever I see how stoic you are, I always feel like I have to do something, yeah? Like a protective or motherly feeling. It stirs something like that within me. I'm just fine.
Before she finished her sentence, she felt someone looking at her. She glanced around.
The fuck?
Meow. What is it? Shh.
She listened carefully. she definitely heard a very faint sound from the direction of the metal door that led to the stairs. It was small enough that Suzuha was only able to notice it because of her training.
Someone's here. Meow meow. They probably heard us.
Most of the discussion was worthless, but they talked about the time machine a little. If someone heard that... Suzuha yanked her gun out of her jacket and in an instant ran towards the stairs as fast as she could. She heard someone running down the stairs as soon as she did. The sound, heavy military boots in a wide stride, got further and further away.
They're fast!
She opened up the door and jumped onto the landing. Then she raced down the stairs, skipping 3 steps every stride. But still it wasn't fast enough. Suzuha was born fast, and she'd been trained to be faster, but it wasn't enough. When she finally made it to the 2nd floor, she could hear the loud revving of a motorcycle.
Oh no!
She panicked and slipped on an object that had been left halfway up the stairs, then rolled her way to the bottom. She managed to get into the tight right position to protect her head, so it was her hips that struck the ground.
Ah!
She forced herself to stand up and run outside. She could see the taillights of a large motorcycle speeding away. The driver was wearing a black helmet and riding suit, already a good distance away, so she couldn't even tell if they were a man or a woman. They revved their engine loudly as if to mock her, then spun a corner and disappeared onto Center Street.
Suzu-nyan!
A little later, Ferris caught up.
Are you okay, Nya? They got away. You should put that away, Nya.
Oops.
Oh.
Gun in hand.
Oh, fuck.
She put the gun in her hands back in her jacket holster and brushed away hair that sweat had stuck to her brow.
That was clunky.
It was. It was like, okay.
Okay. Who was that, Nya? I don't know. But they weren't a civilian. They've been trained. Trained? Was there anything on the stairs? A bag, Nya? It was right where I couldn't see it. They probably dropped it deliberately. And they revved their engine right as I was coming by it. I fell for it. You mean it was a trap, Nya? Only someone with special training could do that on a moment's notice. No one else could.
She glared in the direction the bike disappeared and started to think. Who was it? CERN? There was an unofficial CERN group, the Rounders, that were searching for the IBM 5100s in Akihabara. Rintaro Okabe had told her that, but he'd only encountered them in another world line.
I don't know who it was, but it's clear that someone other than us knows about the time machine.
Was it that they knew about it, but weren't going to do anything more? Or did they intend to steal the time machine from her? Since she didn't know, she had to assume the worst, or she wouldn't be prepared to deal with it. She looked up into the sky and sighed. It was becoming a bad habit.
Hey, Bixus Rumi, don't tell Uncle Green and the others, okay? Meow? Why? If Uncle Green knew about it, he might say it was too dangerous and that we had to destroy the time machine, you know? Yeah, it's true, but I'm going to protect the time machine, no matter what. I need to take Uncle Green to the entrance to Steins Gate. That was the promise I made to my dad and to all the people who sent me here. Suzu, Nya. Alright, Nya. In exchange, just make sure you tell Daru, Nya. Okie dokie.
The sky. The last part was almost a whisper as her words melted into Akihabara's sky. Melt, 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 melt.
Angry midget.
Angry.
It's the angry midget.
All right, we're going to take a quick save, first of all.
It still bothers the shit out of me.
I know.
Okay.
And we're going to take a quick break, grab a drink, all of that good stuff. I'm going to get some tea. Just so you know, Buzz, I'm going to be very British right now.
It's got some tea time up ahead.
That's
just
right.
so you know.
Just for you. That in my voice. But anyway, we shall be back in 5 minutes, guys. Please stay tuned. And we're back. Welcome back to Argent Leftovers. I am Argent.
I'm Mort.
And we are back with more Steins Gate Zero. And tea. And sake. Yeah, Buzz, it's peppermint tea with a little bit of honey in it. Helps keep our voices in exercised condition.
Soothing is the good thing.
It is. I'm going to put my little tea
Just
bag
like-
over here.
I was about to say, you can always just like try and jam it in my beer.
Stick it in the hole.
Just jam it in there. Now I've gotten minty Oktoberfest. That's what happens when you have that crossover season between Halloween and Christmas, known as Thanksgiving.
I was about to say Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's like my favorite holiday, so.
Yeah, but you also like eating a bunch of different foods and you like making food.
Yep. Also, I would like to say hello to our viewers.
Whoever the fuck they are, wherever they are.
I put them over here.
But yeah, I was going to say, they're in a little tiny screen.
Angel of Light, hello. Commander Root, we have Casey, we have Lurks, and we have, of course, the wonderful Butchino. You're all wonderful. Love you all.
Buzzchino just gets the most love because he's the only one that actually says stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if
That's
you talk
it.
to us, send nudes. I mean, talk to us.
I was going to say, if they send nudes, they better be fucking noodles. I'm just saying.
Noodles. Send noodles.
Those nudes. I love those nudes. Because those nudes are awesome. Because then you'll make me hungry for noodles.
Noodles. Maho Hiajo was fidgeting. She knew exactly why, but she still didn't want to admit it. Maho, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
She awkwardly stood up from the chair as Dr. Leskinen spoke to her.
Well, what?
I had thought you'd put some more effort into it, but I guess not. Dr. Leskinen stared at her for a moment and then spoke. It was obvious he was referring to her outfit.
I love how they say obviously. We're both like, huh? The fuck you say, bitch?
What's the name of the guy from To Catch a Predator again?
Chris Hansen.
Hi, I'm Chris Hansen. Dr. Leskinen, have a seat. Let's talk. Anyway.
I'm not going to a party like I was last time.
You wore your lab coat to that, too.
That was because I forgot my clothes.
Because I just dawned on me I was using suicide by accident.
That's okay. Ha ha ha! That's right.
He's so desperate to do the ha 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 so loudly.
Let's just see him as a loud guy. Dr. Luskin was wearing his translator all the time these days. In fact, he actually told Maho to talk to him in Japanese. Now then, I can't wait to see what kind of relationship Lintalo and Kurisu have established. Lintalo.
Rentado?
Oh, Lintaro. Yeah, that would be about right, yeah. Maho and Dr. Leskinen were about to head to Tokyo proper. There, they were to meet with Rintaro Okabe. It had been 2 weeks since they'd first asked him to test Amadeus. It was time for the first report. Of course, that was the reason Maho was fidgeting. She was nervous to meet Okabe. No, to see Kurisu for the first time in quite a while. Bullcrap. You were right the first time. Got it in one. Of course, Maho was able to talk to Kurisu anytime she wanted, but since she'd asked Okabe to be a tester, she tried to avoid doing so as much as possible. She didn't want her conversations to add any extra noise.
Professor, before we leave, can I ask you something?
Whatever you like.
Why Okabe?
Maho had wanted to ask Dr. Leskinen that for a long time. Wow.
I hate Leskinen's name so much.
It does not look like Leskinen when you're reading it quickly. Maho had wanted to ask Dr. Leskinen that for a long... And I don't know what... Try saying Dr. Leskinen that.
Dosculant.
She's like, no.
Dr. Leskinen that.
I don't know. My tongue trips over that last bit. If she was going to ask it, though, now was the time. Dr. Leskinen thought for a minute.
You don't say.
I was about to say, why did he give us a ... and then tell us he was thinking? Duh. Are you jealous, Maho?
I'm...
She felt heat flush her face. In other words, he was right. Yeah, she was jealous of Okabe. Not that she wanted to admit it.
To be honest, it bothers me. There are other people who could be her conversation partners.
You, for instance?
I'm not saying that. I'm too close to Kurisu and Amadeus.
Rintaro is a good guy.
I think you have to actually, purposely say Lintalo.
Lintalo.
Because, it's probably how it sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You
R sounds like an LD.
I know, but you accidentally said R.
Yeah, I know. Kara. Rintaro.
Mm-hmm.
If you really believe that, you're naive. It's impossible to really understand someone after only meeting them once. What if he secretly sells Amadeus another lab? Even if he doesn't plan to at first. My brain went so many different ways. It was like, nope. Even if he doesn't plan to at first, he might change his mind if they showed him enough money. That's human nature.
Let's say Lintalo did sell Amadeus. What would happen then? Would whoever got her access rights be able to become friends with Kurisu and take over Amadeus?
Well...
Maho asked herself the question and realized the chance was almost zero.
That would be impossible.
Yes, it's impossible. Because if that ever happened, Kurisu would refuse to talk to them. In that sense, Amadeus is a very difficult system. It doesn't do what you want it to. Of course, it is possible that Amadeus could be persuaded. But you could say that's why I chose you and Kurisu as its models. Dr. Leskinen gave her a mischievous wink. I'm Chris Hansen. Please take a seat.
Both Kurisu and I have different personalities. It would be hard to persuade us to do anything. Difficult personalities. Oops.
She knew he was teasing her, so she decided to say it.
Pronouns, how do they work?
Sorry, my contacts had fogged up. Indeed, you two are truly merciless. And that is the best security I could get.
That sounds like an insult.
You two are the finest ladies our institution has to offer. Dr. Leskinen laughed happily. He always had a childlike innocence about him. He is totally a bad guy. Either way, the Amadeus AI is a tricky thing. You could say that's what makes it interesting. Keeping them to ourselves won't bring us any progress, will it? I had been thinking about how I wanted to find a catalyst that could prompt Amadeus to really evolve. And I wanted it to be someone who didn't have anything to do with the research. Lintalo is smart, and I think he's a good choice. He's also a friend of Kurisu's. Anyway, why not see what he says today before you decide? First, let's see how Kurisu has changed since she started spending time with Lintalo. We may see a side of her that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
That was what was making her nervous. If Kurisu changed into someone she didn't know, that would make her sad. Aw. It's time. Let's go.
Oh, they were such good friends beforehand.
They talked once in a lab.
Well,
I know. To us, they talked once in a lab. Maho nodded.
but say I got the implication that, or I felt there was an implication that they had, kind of been chummy a little bit beforehand, but really got chummy after that book thing.
Book!
Because,
Books.
Short person can't reach book.
Short person can't reach book.
Oh, yay, Luca. I hope so anyways.
Yeah, it's Yanabayashi.
Well, I know, but it could be somebody else.
I walked onto the grounds of Yanabayashi Shrine and quietly took a look around. Several cats were sunbathing beneath the cold winter sky, but there was no sign of anyone else. Damn it, eyeballs. Lukaku wasn't back from school yet. Oh. Okay, I could talk to Kurisu without anyone staring at me here. I was supposed to meet with Dr. Leskinen and Maho after this. Before that happened, I wanted to confirm something with Kurisu. So, I decided to start the app. Whenever I talked to Kurisu, I needed to pay attention to where I was. People would stare if I did it in a crowded place. And I couldn't do it around my family or anyone I knew. It's like masturbating. In that sense, with the exception of the fact that Lukaku and Mayuri might show up, Yanabayashi Shrine wasn't a bad spot.
Connect to Kurisu. Hello.
We need to talk.
You're meeting with the professor and Maho after this, right? Is that what this is about?
Yeah.
Is there any reason to be nervous? Basically, you're turning over the logs, and they'll ask you some quick questions about your impression of me.
That's it. The logs. That's what I wanted to talk about. Have all of our conversations been recorded?
I told you that when we started, right? I keep logs in a place where nobody but me can access them. Were you not listening?
And you're going to submit them to the professor in Hiyajo?
Probably.
Which means if I say anything personal to you, Dr. Leskinen and Maho will hear it.
You're just realizing this now?
Yeah, it was a little late. Kurisu and I had been talking for 2 weeks. I should have asked about this when I got access key for Amadeus. I just realized it today. Hey, have I told you anything I shouldn't have so far?
Like the fact that you were barely able to talk to any girls at the matchmaking party? Or the fact that your family sells vegetables but you hate eggplants?
I don't hate eggplants. I'm just not very good at eating them. If that was all, I didn't really care.
Or the fact that the first time we talked, you called me Christina.
Please forget about that.
Human memories are ambiguous, and as time passes, they become more subjective and tend to be compressed into a single narrative. Regardless of whether the memory is a good or bad one, it's common to only be able to remember words that left an impression, and that impression will often alter your memories of the surrounding conversation.
Huh?
The fuck am I talking about?
What was she talking about?
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just how memories work. But Amadeus isn't human. It's an incomplete AI, still in the research stage. This is a big problem for Maho and the professor. But actually, Amadeus still can't perfectly replicate the ambiguity of human memories.
Blank stare.
In other words, I can't completely replicate the high-level brain function that is forgetting.
Huh? But at the ATF seminar, Dr. Leskinen said that Amadeus would forget unneeded information.
Yes, I do forget things, but remember what I said? I record things in a log, like my secret diary. So in the end, all the information is still kept there. And if I load that, all the data I should have forgotten will come flooding back to me, okay?
Delete the log. Jesus.
Right?
In other words, asking him to forget was a waste of time.
Another plan would be to delete my logs, but those are my backups, so that's not happening. Even if I could delete one area, the result would be the same. I would analyze the surrounding conversation and automatically reconstruct the missing portion. If you want to alter my memories, you'd have to mess with the primary program.
I didn't have that level of access, and I didn't understand how the program worked at all. So basically, until I told Carissa while I called her Christina, she was going to keep asking. What a pain.
So, why Christina?
You really don't give up, do you? I'll hang up right now if I have to.
Even if you run, as I've just explained, I won't forget. The more you try to change the subject, the more interested I get, you know? Or is this a ploy to get me to pay attention to you?
You're the one who wants attention. You call me in the middle of my university lectures. And not only that, you message me all the time on Rhine. You've got too much curiosity. If you keep poking your head into things, one of these days you're going to regret it.
But a scientist can't function if they're not curious.
She got mad at me. If you're that interested in why I call you Christina, why not come up with a theory yourself?
I have a few, actually. Listen to these.
She's really into this.
Right? Way too interested. Theory 1. You've got a crush on a Hollywood actress named Christina.
You think you've got the looks of a Hollywood actress?
Ooh, harsh. Looks don't matter. It's like how you feel a closeness to someone with the same name.
So this is what you're saying, in other words. Rintaro Okabe feels close to me.
It's just an example. Don't try to read too deep into it.
It's a joke. Whenever I talked to Kurisu, I always wanted to tease her. I needed to watch out.
Theory 2. You once dated a foreign girl named Christina.
Well, I mean, kind of.
Given your terrible English ability, this one is out of the question, huh?
It's possible that I dated a blonde babe who also spoke fluent Japanese, isn't it?
Did you?
Silence is an admission of defeat.
Sorry.
Theory 3. You knew the original me, and you called her that either directly or indirectly. This is also unlikely. If you called me that, I know what I'd say. Stop adding Tina.
Yeah, that was exactly right. That's exactly what Kurisu said. But I didn't stop because I was embarrassed. The genius named Kurisu Makise was the person I always wanted to be.
What do you mean?
I couldn't bring myself to say her name, so I came up with a nickname to hide my embarrassment.
Embarrassment?
Yeah, not just with the original either. It happens when I'm talking to you too.
Me?
I mean, I've never talked to a girl inside a monitor before.
What? Well, thank you.
Her? Why are you blushing?
I'm not. I just didn't expect that you'd treat me like a girl. It surprised me a little. I mean, I also get surprised when I get treated like a girl.
Even that reaction was just like Kurisu. That part of you, I shuddered. What was I about to say? This was a 3D model on a screen, a tiny collection of zeros and ones in the shape of a human. What was I about to say to her?
Hey, can I ask you something? We knew each other, didn't we? I mean, you and the original me. If you don't want to tell me, that's fine. But what was our relationship? I'm kind of curious.
I loved you and then I murdered you.
Right? Did I not get mad when you called me Christina? Or did I get mad but then laugh and forgive you? I don't want to die.
I was hit with a violent urge to throw up. I could see Kurisu in front of me covered with blood. She was looking at me, her eyes cold.
You killed me. What's wrong? Hey, you've gone pale.
I touched the smartphone and ended the call. Hey, Yasin.
Hey.
How's it going?
And we have disconnected with Kurisu.
And apparently fallen down. I didn't notice.
Then it became too dizzy to stand. Just down.
Yoink, thud.
Straight thud.
Straight thud, yo. Ah. Where'd my game window go? Sorry. Then it became too dizzy to stand. As she said.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Ah. I tried to throw up, but nothing came out.
Oh yay, dry heaves.
My hands were shaking. That's right. I can't change reality. But there I was, trying to talk to Kurisu like nothing had happened. I was treating her like the real Kurisu and trying to avert my eyes from what I'd done. I was just clinging to Kurisu. This was wrong. I shouldn't talk to Kurisu anymore. The call was from Kurisu. Should we answer?
I mean, that's up to you. Do you want to... Whoa.
That's up to you.
I mean, do you want to answer?
Let's answer. I'm curious.
Okay.
What is it?
You know exactly what it is. It's rude to just hang up. Is something wrong?
Nothing.
But you look so pale.
It's nothing, really. Leave me alone. It'd help a lot if you wouldn't talk to me for a while.
Don't push yourself too hard. Contact somebody you know, okay? Bye.
Krisu gave up easier than I expected.
Okay.
Maybe she realized that as an artificial intelligence, there was nothing she could do. Realized? I was making her sound like a real person. And the second that thought crossed my mind, I almost saw an image of a bloody hand. I gritted my teeth and waited for it to pass. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calmed down a little. I was fine just a moment ago, but now even hearing Teressa's voice was enough to send me into a panic. I'd gone back to how I was half a year ago. Back then, even hearing Teresa's name was enough to make me dizzy. I shouldn't have messed with this. Shouldn't have tried to chase Teresa's shadow. For now, I should just turn off the smartphone. But in the end, I couldn't make that decision.
How are you supposed to keep track of time, dude? You have a meeting.
What if your mom called you? Sorry. I drank the tea. It's supposed to help my voice, and just now I can't talk. I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. Yeah, that would be great right now, mineral water. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some air up here and recover a little. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was exact opposite of me. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. And I was getting a headache, too. If I went to Dr. Leskinen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try and make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved.
Oh, you want to sip my sake then?
Let's sip your sake.
So I always forgot the fact that the name changed for like person to person sometimes. So instead of her actual name, it's girl with the short hair.
Yeah.
Hey, I knew it. It's Elgreen.
Hi there. Oh, you're Mayuri's friends. They were Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think their cosplay names were Kaede and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names. Which was Kaede and which was Fubuki again? Are you okay? You don't look so good. I'm fine. If I made them worry here and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I shouldn't have come back to Akihabara anyway. I had run into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone towards Kanda when I left the shrine.
You always look like you're hurting somehow, Green.
That is so harassed of the game creators. You're such a hairist. No, I'm the hairiest. I'm totally not. Do I?
You do.
Fubuki.
And when Mayushi looks at you, she looks like she's in pain too. When I see her looking at you, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Wait, what am I saying?
This Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. I felt a little better after hearing that. I'm glad I make you cry.
Right?
Who's the girl you like?
The girl I like? An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of my eye again.
Spooky.
The
Bad
feeling in my
spooky.
hands when I took her life came back. No. Calm down. Okarin?
I'm sorry. That was rude to ask. Ocarine?
Are you really okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Kaede and Fuuki were looking at me worried. I got away from them as fast as I could. Yeah, that's totally gonna convince them you're okay. Run the other way.
Closed epigraph. Hey, go down to the mixer at the bottom. I don't see our current. There we go.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's still showing.
Well, you moved it.
Yeah, casein is still on the channel, so hopefully. Okay. Let's
It's
see.
108.
It's 10:08.
Yep.
Okay. Still got time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stop being a tester. When I started the conversation with that, both Leskinen and Maho looked shocked. We were meeting in a room at a luxury hotel in the heart of Tokyo. It felt like the sort of secret meeting you'd see in a spy movie. Or maybe it only felt that way because the old me wasn't completely gone.
You can't just. It's irresponsible.
Maho seemed to finally understand what I meant, and her anger was clear. Maho, calm down. Lin Talo is the one helping us with this test. I'm grateful that you took up the offer at all. If you quit here, you're not being irresponsible at all. Don't worry. Dr. Leskinen smiled and offered me his hand. I just don't trust him.
I don't like his smile.
Exactly. I took hold of his giant hand and shook it back, but I looked down, unable to look him in the eye. Gomennasai.
Show off.
Still, I would have liked it if you could have continued. I took a quick look at the logs, and I see you've been talking to her quite a bit. And the way Kurisu speaks to you is very different than what we hear at the laboratory. Humans are by nature social animals. They change their words and actions depending on the situation and who they're speaking with. We can assume that Amadeus is doing the same thing. That's why I wanted you to continue the test a little while longer. Ah!
Oh no!
By the way, why did you decide to quit? Did talking to Amadeus become painful? No, it's the opposite. The opposite? Talking to Amadeus to Kurisu is a lot of fun. But that scares me. And then I desperately tried to explain the feelings that were welling up within me, even though I still didn't understand them myself. I told him how scared I was that I was starting to see Kurisu and Kurisu as the same person. I thought this might put a lot of stress on you. I'm really sorry. But that reaction of yours is very interesting. In the sense that you're interacting with Amadeus from the perspective of someone who isn't a scientist. That's very valuable to me. I hope you'll forgive me for saying that I'm a scientist to the core, you see. No, I understand I'm the one being selfish here. Mahu hadn't said a word for a while. She's pissed.
You pissed her off.
And feeling bad about herself because this is what she wanted and she didn't want at the same time.
Yeah, right?
She was frowning and seemed to be intently focused on studying Amadeus's logs. I didn't want her looking at me because it made me feel guilty, but... Alright, if you want to stop being a tester, that's what will happen. But do you mind if we leave the access program on your phone? Huh? From now on, it's up to you whether you want to talk to Amadeus or not. I'll tell Kurisu not to contact you. I don't want our relationship with you to end today. You're the first friend we made in Japan, and also, Maho would be sad.
Professor!
I understand. I felt like giving in, but at the same time, I didn't want to lose my relationship with Dr. Leskinen. My goal of going to Victor Chandria University hadn't changed at all. Jesus! And then Dr. Leskinen got a call on his cell phone and scared the shit out of the narrator. Oh, excuse me. I have to take this.
Especially seeing as it didn't sound like anything that we have for phones.
Maho, make up with Lintalo while I'm gone, okay? Dr. Leskinen left the room with a mischievous wink.
I'm so tired of the mischievous wink. Gives me the heebies.
By the way, I would like to point out the fact that I'm kind of screwing up because my inner ear keeps popping every time I open and close my jaw. It's like I'll stop talking, it'll go pop. Pop. Dr. Leskinen left the room with a mischievous wink, again, because he hadn't left the first time.
No. And we have to ensure that everyone knows mischievous wink.
Make up with Lintalo.
It sounds worse coming out of your mouth.
Make up with Lintalo. Do it now.
It's not much better.
Thank you. Wink, wink.
Oh, God. Stop.
Would it be better if I did it as Daru? Wink, wink.
Actually, yes. I don't know why.
I was alone with Mao.
Maybe it's because I expect Daru to be a pervert.
Probably.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for yelling.
No.
The professor's right. We're the ones asking you for a favor. Amadeus is like a sister to me. No, more like a child. And it felt like you were throwing her away, so...
I'm sorry I can't help you.
I think I understand how you feel. Or at least I thought I did, maybe.
Maho sighed again.
I'm no good, am I? My prefrontal cortex probably came out all screwed up when I was born. That has to be it.
Huh?
The prefrontal cortex is one of the parts of the brain that defines your personality. It also handles information filtering. When there's something you don't want to admit, it cuts out that information or deceives you to its meaning.
I don't really understand.
In other words, it tries to hide your emotions and it tells lies. Not to other people, but to yourself. Like how I'm trying to hide how I feel behind a wall of scientific jargon right now. I think it's my prefrontal cortex that's doing it.
That would apply just as well to the old me. Kyoma Hyoin. God. Why? Also, I realized yesterday that I was pronouncing his name incorrectly.
Which one?
Hoin. It's not Hyoin. It's Hoin.
Well, great. Now I gotta try and change it too because I've been following your fucking...
We'll call him Hyoin because that's what his name is.
Well, it could also be... It could just be Hoin. It's just Hoin.
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 Hoin. That's the best I can do.
You're just going Hoin.
I...
Hoin. Go Hoin.
Oh, dear God. You really want me to, like...
No.
Okay,
Hyoin Kyoma is
I
fine.
feel like I'm over-articulating, though, whenever I do that. I just... Hoin. I'm over-articulating
In
for
Japanese,
me.
you have to.
But,
Because kirisu and kirisu are different.
well,
and you have
I
to
know,
do that.
but that's the thing. I didn't sound like to me I was going Hoin. It was Hoin, but it was very subtle.
Yeah, I have to make it more pronounced.
So apparently I have to over-articulate.
Over-articulate. Hoin.
It feels so wrong.
Yeah, just call him Hyoin. Put the yo in there, it's fine.
Hyoin.
But why do they keep changing it back to Hyoin Kyoma from to
Kyoma
Hyoin? Ugh. When I realized that, there was nothing I could say. I think that's true for everybody.
It's worse for me, probably. Just, from now on, whenever you feel like it, talk to Amadeus. It doesn't have to be for long.
I'll think about it.
Thanks.
Maho flopped back onto the sofa. Hey, can I ask you a question about Karisu's mom?
Where the fuck is this coming from?
Right? I happened to hear you and the professor talking about her at the party that one time. You'd said that something happened at Karisu's house.
Oh, that.
Maho seemed to remember it quickly. She nodded.
We got a call from Karisu's mom. Someone set her house on fire.
What? Was she okay?
She said she was gone that day, so she was alright.
That was a relief. After all that happened, I really didn't want Karisu's mother to have to go through any more.
Karisu's mom seemed to really like me. She would invite me over on my off days all the time.
Oh my god! Kagari is and isn't Karisu, I have a feeling.
Let's continue.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm so worried. I hope she's not caught up in anything weird.
Weird? I noticed the way she said the phrase. A cold chill ran down my back. It wasn't just an arson case.
Well...
Maho seemed unsure if she should tell me. Shajo. I urged her to speak. She nodded slightly. Sorry.
It occasionally just wobbles, and I'm like, could you stop?
Well, the wobble is fine.
Well, I know, but it's so sensitive. I'm afraid of anything.
It'll just stop working all of a sudden.
Yeah, it'll either stop working or make the buzzing worse or some shit because it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I did start a GoFundMe to try to get us a new microphone.
You suck.
Because I bought this one brand new and it has that buzzing, so I'm trying to get a good XLR microphone. If you buy our merch, it'll really help.
Okay, so you can't hear the wobble. I mean, if anything, it's probably a good thing that I'm paranoid about this.
Yeah. I mean, I think she knew she wouldn't hear the wobble because it's got the spring on it.
Yeah, it just was kind of weirded me out.
Yeah, it's just the fact that she's worried about it swaying enough that it disconnects.
That stupid thing does... Oh.
Well, at first the local police investigated, but after that, some people saying they were the FBI came.
The FBI?
Yeah. Understand, this wasn't a case the FBI would usually be involved in. And supposedly a neighbor saw the arson. And from what she said, they didn't look like your ordinary arsonist.
What do you mean?
There was more than one. She said they looked like some kind of special forces unit. They barely said a word, and once the fire started, they got right into the car and left. I don't know if it's the right word, but they looked really good at their job. And they said the fire spread really fast.
Was she trying to say that it was no ordinary arson, but the work of a professional? Yes, you idiot.
This is Okabe, dude. He's pretty fucking special.
I couldn't laugh away the possibility. I knew for a fact there were people like that in this world.
And the neighbor said they were speaking Russian.
Russian?
Russian.
The first thing that came to mind, whether I liked it or not, was Nakabachi. Half a year ago, God damn.
Welcome to my life last week.
Half a year ago, he'd stolen a paper about time travel from Karisu, his own daughter, and used it to seek asylum in Russia. Could that have something to do with it? No, you think maybe? До свидания, comrade.
Нет. And there's one more thing. Right after Karisu's death, something weird happened at the lab. Someone who said they were a Japanese detective visited us with some of the local police. They said it was a joint U.S.-Japan investigation into Karisu's death. Of course, we helped as much as we could, but A few days later, the university asked the police, and they said that no such detective had come from the lab from Japan.
So the Japanese detective was a fake.
That's not all. The local police said they never searched our lab. In other words, not only was the detective a fake, but everyone who came in and said they were with the police
We're also fakes.
After that,
Mahu shook a little. She's referring to one of her professors. She had a Russian biochem professor that was a complete asshat. Mahu shook it. This was the guy that was like a second-year course. Would have been a third-year course. And he was all like, I'm not helping you learn that. You should already know that by now. And it was like master's level stuff.
Oh.
And it was like,
Lovely.
yeah, you're a dick. This was the guy that 97% of his class, one guy in his class passed the first test.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
And he's all like, well, y'all should have done better.
Excuse me, butthole, do you have tenure?
No, but he does have a big research grant, and the school wanted to keep him, so.
Oh, so it's basically the same as tenure.
Yeah.
Got it.
But what was really funny was her favorite professor, the actual biology department chair, got the guy kicked off so that he couldn't teach any biology courses.
Ooh.
He could teach them, but he only could teach them to the chemistry students. He had to stay out of the biology department altogether.
Ooh.
Dr. Rhodey was like, nope. Mahu shook a little and wrapped her arms around herself.
I started to wonder if there was something else going on with Carisu's death. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but I think that maybe Carisu was killed for some other reason. Whatever that reason was, it's been covered up.
Stare. I was the one that killed Carisu. The police never found out. They never would, probably. No one could prove a murder that had been committed by a time traveler. The police had announced that a foreign thief had snuck into the storeroom at the radio building, and Carisu had been killed because she saw him. Supposedly, there was an international warrant out for the thief's arrest because he'd already left the country. If you were a time traveler, you would have left your fingerprints all over everything. And they would be your fingerprints, not someone else's. And when I killed Carisu, there was one other person there, Dr. Nakabachi. It was eerie that his name hadn't come up at all. Russia, CERN, the time machine. I remembered the future that Suzuha, or perhaps I should say John Titor, had spoken of. She'd said World War III was going to start within a decade, and it would be the time machine that set it off. The EU and Russia would be in a race to develop it, and then even America would intervene. That would be the spark. Were we at the center of a chain of events that would result in the deaths of 5 billion people? I couldn't help but feel that way.
Carisu won't be able to rest in peace like this. I want to know the truth.
The truth? I couldn't stop myself from shaking as I looked at Maho's face. You want to know the truth? That was dangerous. If she tried to learn the truth, there could be no doubt that she put herself in danger. And I don't want to kill another girlfriend. The rounders who came crashing through the veil of night. My childhood friend who died in my arms after being shot in the head. And after that, the nightmarish and seemingly endless time loops, fops.
Time fops.
All the horrors that I experienced in the Alpha World line came flooding back, and I fought to stifle a moan. But that's something you should leave to the police.
Do you really think so?
If nothing else, you shouldn't think you could do something about it yourself. There's just so little that one person can do. That is the wrong way to approach this. After I said that, I regretted it, but it was too late. Maho's gaze had turned into a piercing glare. Gee.
Do you know something about what happened?
My panic was about to show. I quickly covered my face with my hands. That's impossible, right?
Yeah. Sorry for being weird. Whenever Karisu gets involved, I just can't help myself. I really liked her.
She was a really good girl. An amazing one. I liked her too.
Yeah, I can tell by watching you.
Through the window at night.
Right?
A heavy silence filled the air between us. I felt like I had to say something, but fortunately Dr. Leskinen came back just then.
Meh.
How about some dinner, you two? Maho and I nodded and stood up from the sofa.
Okabe, will you tell me more about what Karisu was like when she was here sometime?
Yeah, whenever you like. I was just barely able to smile back at Maho.
Like you can smile at all.
Okay, guys, before we move on to the next phase, first of all, we're going to save because God knows what's going to happen.
I don't want to redo a whole hour's worth of shit.
Right? And we're going to take our 10-minute break. This is our rest our voices break. Go grab a drink. I'm going to go grab a drink, and we'll be back here in 10 minutes. So stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to Argent Leftovers. I'm Argent.
I'm Mort.
And we're back with a little bit more Steins Gate Zero. Thanks for sticking through the break for those of you that were here, and thank you for joining us, those of you that come in. I'd like to say hello to another TTV viewer. Hello to Angel of Light Buzzacino, of course. Good sir. Commander Root, Casein, and Lurks. Y'all are all here hanging out with us, and we do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Please make sure to follow us on all our social media, which is pretty much everywhere. And also
yeah.
hello to ASN over on YouTube. I'm not too sure who we have over on YouTube.
But you know what? Let's just check it out. YouTube.com.
YouTube is weird because it doesn't quite give you all the information you need to do your job.
Manage your Google account. No.
Switch accounts.
Switch accounts?
So, we're going to be finishing this section up in probably about an hour. Anyway. If you are on YouTube, please say something. We can see you. We can see the what you type in. We had ASN in earlier.
Just saying hey.
Asian. Said hey. Hello to you. If you're in the YouTube chat, please say hey because I can see you and I will respond. and so was she, and everybody be happy.
We like our friends seen
We
and
do.
heard.
We do. We like to interact with y'all. That's Buzz. We interact with him all the time.
Yep,
Because he's groovy.
certainly is.
Okay, so we're off to
Dinner,
dinner, maybe?
I think.
That's where our last thing left us, was off to dinner.
It was just, hey, you two should show me for dinner. And we're like, yeah. Okay.
Let's go eat.
Sure, we weren't talking about anything heavy or serious. It's fine.
I saw a dark blue van come around the corner of the underground parking lot. Its tires squealed a little. It wasn't a Japanese car. It was a station wagon that looked like a sports car from some foreign manufacturer. There is no station wagon on the face of the earth that looks like a sports car. I didn't know a lot about cars, but supposedly if you purchased it from a dealer, it could easily go for over 8 million yen.
I mean, yeah.
The reason I knew all this was because the car's owner had told me it over and over and over. Oh, so it's an SUV. The station wagon stopped in front of us, and there was a short bark from the horn.
Bark.
Associate Professor Izaki came out of the driver's seat. While I was eating with Dr. Leskinen and Maho, he'd called me about something else. When I told him I was having dinner with the two of them, he'd offered to drive us home. Dr. Leskinen had tried to refuse, but Izaki had insisted so much that he had no choice but to accept. Oh god, this is going to go bad. Oh god! Oh god!
Not again.
He had a pretty nice car for an associate professor. This was the cause of a lot of speculation around the college. Some people said his family was rich, and others that he had the wife of some CEO as a patron. He'd once quietly told me the truth, that he was single and spent all his money on his car. But who even knew if that was true?
I mean, I know some guys that would do that.
Yeah, I do too, but I still don't trust anybody.
Well, yeah.
Izaki was acting like he was a professional chauffeur, opening the rear door and escorting Dr. Leskinen and Maho. Dr. Leskinen thanked him and got inside. Maho went around to the back to load up her luggage. Not bad, Okabe. Looks like you've won over Dr. Leskinen. He grinned and poked me with his elbow.
I hate those.
Stop it.
Just, my ribs. Why?
You'd better not lose this connection, you know, for your future's sake. Right.
The more he talks, the creepier he gets.
He was a hard guy to hate, but for an associate professor, he seemed kind of shallow. It was one of the unfortunate things about him. He waved to me and opened the driver's side door. What was that sound? About the same time I heard the strange sound, a hole appeared in the window on the front passenger side. Yeah! Izaki screamed and fell back on his butt. The rear window exploded.
Gah!
What in the heck is going on? I panicked. Was this some kind of supernatural phenomenon? No, you idiot. It's a sniper. I was too confused to move. And then in the corner of my vision, I saw someone.
Some sniper.
Yeah, some sniper, you dumbass. Assassination attempt, sniper, all the same. God, jeez.
Hold tight, kiddos. He's fixing his contacts. At least trying to.
They all fucked up all of a sudden. Now I can't see anything. A man I didn't know appeared out of the shadow of one of the pillars. He was holding something strange in his hand. It looked kind of like a handgun.
I mean, to be fair, maybe they don't see handguns where
Yeah.
they are.
They don't see him a lot.
We see them all the fucking time. They're in our television shows, in our homes. You know.
In the hands of people meeting us on the street.
Sometimes.
They keep asking for money, and I feel bad if I don't give it to them. It was tiny with a short barrel and kind of flat. I couldn't see any kind of silencer. Who is that? I remembered him from somewhere. It felt like we'd met before. Where? I thought, but nothing came to me immediately. The man was standing there, mumbling something to himself.
I guess I can?
Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come. If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away.
Bit extreme, but okay.
It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than to have 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the valley of Hinnom. There was an aura of intensity and madness about the man as he pointed his gun at us again. The soul God granted dwell within us, the children of God. They will never dwell within Silicon. What? Izaki stood up, turned around, and fled in terror like a startled rabbit, got shot in the back like an idiot. There you go. That sound again. It was so soft and light. I couldn't even imagine that it was a gunshot. But this time the car's windows didn't break. And it didn't blow a hole in me either. It missed? Was he too focused on Izaki? But you won't be that lucky again. Move! Her face is great. I pushed Maho into the back seat and crawled into the driver's side. Thankfully, the engine was still running. I slammed down on the pedal without even bothering to shut the door.
I mean, if you drive fast enough, the door will shut on its own.
Yep. The sound of a powerful engine shook the underground air. The attacker flinched at the incredible noise and vibration. But the car didn't move forward. Take it out of park, you moron! It didn't move an inch. Shift!
You need to put it in drive!
Dr. Leskin and... Wow, she got deep all of a sudden in panic. Dr. Leskin and Maho were keeping their heads low in the back seat and shouting loud enough to be heard over the engine. I took my foot off the accelerator. I glanced over at the gear shift. It was stuck next to the N. Why is it neutral?
I don't know.
Why would you put a car... What am I supposed to do?
Do you have a license?
No!
What?
And then through the windshield, I saw the attacker ready his gun again. He was aiming at me. The look in his eyes told me he was ready to kill without hesitation. A soul will not dwell within Silicon. Crap! Cracks like spiderwebs appeared in the windshield. Something went past the side of my head. I felt a sharp pain. At the same time, a ringing in my ears. All of the other sounds faded away and started to disappear. I felt myself passing out. And then Maho jumped over the seat and slid into the passenger side.
Close the door, now!
My mind was pulled back to reality. I slammed the door shut just as she'd told me. Maho shifted from neutral to drive and leaned over on top of me to grab the wheel.
Floor it!
I slammed the accelerator so hard that for a moment the wheels were almost spinning in place. Then the car leapt forward. The attacker was getting closer. We were going to hit him. I was about to take my foot off the accelerator when...
Leave it!
Maho shouted. I gritted my teeth and did as she said. But there was no impact. Evidently the attacker had leapt away at the last second to avoid being crushed. But there was no time to confirm it as the car raced through the parking garage. We were going too fast, and since Maho was controlling the car from the passenger seat, she couldn't keep going in a straight line. And the car spun to the left and right. I was almost flung out the broken window. I grabbed onto the edge of the seat as hard as I could. We headed for the exit, slamming into walls and pillars as we went. Nothing to see here! Who is that guy?
No idea!
Right! Go right! I could see an exit sign right in front of us.
I can't turn fast enough!
I pressed the brake and put my hand on top of Maho's, turning the wheel to the right. Let me hold your hand. But that was the wrong thing to do. The rear tires slipped. The car spun in a circle. Yeah, no brake.
Yeah, don't brake.
Foot off the accelerator, then turn.
Yep.
And then it came to a stop. Are you okay?
Yeah, what about the professor?
I looked back and saw Dr. Leskinen lying face up on the seat, giving me a thumbs up sign.
Let me take over.
Right. I quickly put my hand on the door and got ready to get out of the driver's seat. But then I saw an old, creaky sedan rumbling towards us and shivered. It was the man from a moment ago. He was following us and moving really fast.
Get out! He's gonna ram us!
Get out! He's gonna ram us!
I know, that stupid mouth thing keeps fucking me up. I'm not used to them, like, having their mouths open at all.
Her mouth is open! I gotta say that.
You do the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying I don't.
This door, it won't open!
Had it broken when we slammed into the wall?
Probably.
I grabbed Maho out of the passenger seat and rolled outside. Dr. Leskinen rolled out of the rear door.
Oh my god, okay, that's fine. Cool.
Cool! You kill yourself. It was less than a second afterward this sedan hit. If we'd been even just a little too slow, we would have been turned into mincemeat. I stood up and offered Maho a hand, then moved away from the unrecognizable wreck that used to be a car. You okay?
Thanks.
Whoa.
Both cars were smashed together. The attacker sedan was completely embedded in the rear half of the car we'd been driving. There was no way he could have survived. There were no tire marks on the ground, which meant he'd slammed into us without braking. I shivered. I had almost been killed. Anyway, I need to contact the cops. I was about to pull out my smartphone when the security guards heard the commotion and came running. Excuse me, please call the police. The security guard nodded and contacted the police. Oh, ow. It hurts. I could feel a pulsing ache in the side of my head. A shot from the gun had grazed me. I hadn't felt that pain at all while I was driving. I fearfully reached up to touch it and felt blood flowing from my temple down to my face. I gulped when I saw that my fingertip had turned bright red. It's a flesh wound.
Yeah, but it's not a flesh wound in the mind.
I almost saw Mayuri when she was shot in the head. I almost saw Kurisu when I killed her. The images felt like they were about to come flashing back to me, and I struggled to stay standing.
You're covered in blood. Did you get hit?
Maho went pale. Is this a bad place to get hit?
There's something called the superficial temporal artery there.
Oh, please tell me you didn't get hit there. Let me see it. I'm gonna touch you a little.
Baka.
Dr. Leskinen looked at the wound. When he touched me, I felt more pain, but I gritted my teeth to endure it. It's okay. You're not that badly hurt.
I'm glad.
Use this. Thanks.
You're not getting that handkerchief back.
I put the handkerchief he offered to me up to my temple. I mean, you can. Just wash it really well.
No, I don't think Okabe knows how to wash out blood. Just saying.
Or anything.
Or anything. He's a dude.
I've been doing my own laundry since I was 5.
You don't count. When it comes to average dudes, you just don't count in some cases.
That's true. That's true. Fair enough. I grew up with a house full of women, so I know things that I probably shouldn't.
Well,
according
probably
to
shouldn't.
man code.
According to man code, but it's probably better that you do.
Yep.
He will now be able to clone you. Good. Fantastic. That's what I want to think about. The guy who attacked us, he was the one at the seminar.
Really?
You don't remember? That was the guy you yelled at.
Oh,
Oh shit, it was that guy.
that's right. It sounded like he was insulting Karisu, so I shouted, "Objection!" at him. That was the guy. Was that his way of getting back at me?
Are you fucking stupid?
Not a chance.
No, you were fucking stupid. Stop telling me otherwise.
The souls God granted dwell within us, the children of God. They will never dwell within Silicon.
Huh? What's that?
He was saying that before he fired the gun.
Was he talking about Amadeus?
I don't know. Yes!
I mean, he's losing blood. He's panicking.
Yeah. I could faintly hear police car sirens in the distance. The hotel security guards and staff were starting to gather. Hey, how do we explain this? Dude shot at us and tried to kill us.
We tell them exactly what happened. I mean, we don't exactly know either.
And then Maho's eyes went wide. She, Dr. Leskinen, and the crowd were all staring at a single point. I looked too, and almost screamed. Woe to the world. Such things must come. Woe to the person through whom they come. The man crawled out from the wreckage of the sedan covered in blood. Nah, kick that dude in the dick. And then he staggered to his... Why is no one kicking him in the dick? He looked like a zombie. Kick him in the dick! Kick him in the nards! Kick him in the nards! He doesn't have nards! Kick him anyway! Wham!
I don't care where you kick him at this point. You can kick him anywhere. He's probably fucking hurt.
Wolfman's got nards. All his limbs except the one holding the gun were pointed off at impossible directions, and I could see what looked like bones sticking out from them.
Adrenaline, kids. One hell of a drug.
His stomach was torn open, and each time he crawled forward, I could see major organs covered in blood falling out of the hole. But he moved towards us as if he felt no pain at all.
Adrenaline.
It was such an awful sight that no one could speak. The man unsteadily aimed the gun towards Dr. Leskinen. He must have been on the verge of death because his arm was flailing around too much to aim. But Dr. Leskinen's expression was pure terror, and he seemed unable to move. Yeah, that doesn't look like terror. Looks like he's pissed.
I mean, potentially, just the drawing's fault, but still.
That's for me. Soul. Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Professor, run! A shot rang out.
God damn it.
Fresh blood flew out of the man's head and his body was blown away as if it had been hit by a truck. He fell to the ground, still clutching his gun. He tried to crawl forward anyway, but still soon twitched and stopped moving. The crowd began to scream.
It's not every day you get to see someone just fucking explode.
What? The attacker had been shot?
Apparently.
Did he shoot himself?
Apparently.
No, that gunshot was clearly different than the last ones.
Apparently.
Who's there? Who just fired?
I'd be terrified to think if it was like Shining Finger or something.
It's Suzuwa. I looked around. I could see several policemen coming from the entrance, but none of them had their guns drawn. And the crowd was nothing but security and hotel staff. I couldn't see any of them carrying a gun. So, who had fired and where had they fired from? Look at the blood spray, you dink.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they took the attacker's head off with a single shot. Not just anyone could do that.
I mean, Suzuha and Shining Finger are the only ones that can do that.
That we know of, yeah.
That we know of. It'd be much worse if it was someone else that we just don't know about.
Yet another gun in Tokyo. Yay.
Yay.
What is going on? Of course, no one told me.
Of course.
Because no one knows. Afterward, the police took us into custody. They took us into custody. We've been caught! We were taken to the police station and questioned until late into the night. The sun was almost about to rise by the time we left. The police took me home in a patrol car. Dr. Leskinen and Maho were having the police take them back to the hotel in Waco, so we could split up in front of the police station.
My brain's like, that's not how you spell Waco. Because I'm so used to, Texas.
I made the Waco Police Department very angry this week. They posted, one of my friends liked it, but they posted up a picture of somebody had driven a cherry picker into a power line. It caught fire. Like flames shooting up everywhere. My immediate response was, well, it's not the first time Waco's seen a fire like that.
Ooh. Oh, that's bad.
I probably put myself on r/curse comments all by that one.
Probably. You're going to find that later and be like, hey, that was me.
We never did find out why the man had attacked us. Well, it's kind of hard to question him. He is very dead.
Very.
They're dead. She felt dizzy.
That's strange.
Suzuha thought. She stopped moving. Since she was in the middle of the sidewalk, the other pedestrians looked irritated as they moved around her. She took a deep breath and waited for a moment, but she still felt dizzy. Actually, she was finding it difficult to stand. Was she hallucinating, or was the whole world starting to get blurry? All the noise of the city around her suddenly felt very far away, and it was like she was diving underwater. Was this the reading Steiner ability that Uncle Ocarine had talked about? Was she starting to acquire it too? And then she realized how warm she felt. The truth hit her.
Am I sick?
Is that the fucking virus going around?
She somehow managed to stagger back to the lab. It seemed she was worse off than she thought. If she could have, she would have fallen to her knees right there. During the war and afterwards, when she joined up with her dad's organization, she'd been hurt badly enough to go into a coma several times. But this was the first time something like this had happened since she became a time traveler.
This is bad.
She looked up to the second floor. The lights were on. She felt honestly relieved to know her dad was there. She walked up the stairs. The door was unlocked. She didn't have the energy to speak, so she tried to silently take off her shoes, and then she tripped. Thud.
Thud.
Like I said, she fell forward.
That hurt.
Smart of you to catch yourself with your face like that.
Right?
Suzuha?
Wait, as a kid, I thought the police taking you into custody meant they took you to a special library to study books about custard.
I'm taking you into custody.
Oh, I love that. That's so precious. I love it.
Itaru was in the room. He saw her and ran over. You okay? No.
Yeah.
That's why I fell on my face. She rubbed her knee and tried to stand up, but staggered again and fell into Itaru's arms. What's wrong?
Sorry, I'm feeling a little dizzy. Huh? Are you not feeling well, Suzu?
Oh! Oh, good. So you had a real dad. Fantastic.
If you steal that, they're going to come and take you away.
As I was saying, not like you can't deny the fact that you did the same thing. I'm sure. Confusing your kids with false explanations.
Nah, not typically.
Not typically. Okay, then maybe it was just my dad.
Of course, that's also the reason my kid went to school and said the difference between boys and girls is that one has a penis and the other has a vagina. And his teacher had to send home a note saying, your child said this. I was like, he used the proper medical terms. He's not in trouble for that. That and when my daughter drew a picture of a cemetery.
Oh.
And they called home and they were like, explain this to us. And she goes, well, there's the graveyard, and there's Mama in the grave.
Oh dear.
And they were like, is everything all right? We're like, yeah, she's just morbid. My son had a skeletal fetus as an imaginary friend. I have strange children.
So you didn't have to sit down and confuse your children with weird shit.
Yeah, I didn't have to. They were off on planet Zero. I was okay with it.
My dad had me convinced for years that the real lyric to Tiny Dancer was Tony Danza.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Yep. And then I listened to it on my own for the first time and went, you fuckhead!
Are you alright?
When she heard these voices, Suzuha finally realized that Yuki and Mayuri were also in the room.
Pretty sure it's still the same day.
She'd let her guard down, she realized. Yuki seemed unconcerned by Suzuha's obvious uneasiness. She walked over with a serious expression on her face.
Suzuha, let me see your forehead.
Oh, she's gonna do that. Yep.
Yep, she's gonna do the forehead thing. Yuki brushed her bangs aside and put her own forehead up against Suzuha's. Suzuha's heart started pounding.
Seemed like the best response is
She had distant memories of her mother doing this before.
You've got a terrible fever.
What? Daru put his big hand up to Suzuha's cheek as well. Oh, you're right.
Do you have a cold? I'm fine. This'll get better fast.
Hey, don't push yourself. You need to go lie down right now. Duh. Why does it have a locketry for duh?
Now I need to know.
Yeah,
what
now
does
I need
duh
to...
mean in this context? What the fuck are you talking about? Tips.
Tips.
An expression used to indicate that something is obvious or self-evident. Its use can be traced back to at least 200 years.
Really? That long? Really? Well, duh.
I mean, this is like, what, 2010?
Yeah.
Really? I haven't...
Now I have to do research when we get done.
Yeah, right?
I totally need to know if duh is a language thing. And if it is, you know who did it.
Who?
If it is actually in the lexicon,
Mhm.
it's fucking Shakespeare.
That wasn't 200 years ago.
It was still Shakespeare.
200 years ago.
It was still Shakespeare.
200 years ago.
Yep.
Not two...
He's a time traveler.
Oh, okay.
It went back in time,
Forwards in time.
sideways in time. What? Wait.
Shakespeare wasn't 200 years ago. It was a couple centuries ago.
2010, that would make it 1810. Yeah, it was a little further back than
yeah,
that. Yeah.
That was like the 1600s.
But you were like 2,000 years ago. I was like...
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was like 2,000 years ago. Shakespeare was about 2,000 years ago. She's like, I was about to say that. He is a time traveler. Maybe he gets constantly reincarnated. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe he got reincarnated as Dickens?
Also, the phrase is all of a sudden, not all of the sudden. It was Shakespeare that first said it, and you people are wrong if you say all of the sudden. You're wrong because Shakespeare said it that way. He made it up. He made up a lot of words. Shakespeare was just like, fuck it, I'm going to make up stuff, and now we still use it today. Also, irregardless is not a word. Stop it.
It is.
No, it's not.
It's archaic, but yes.
Not a word.
Not a modern word, but...
Not a word.
I can find you the source.
Not a word.
I can find you the source, promise.
Not a word.
That's right. I know that. I'm just gonna rest for a bit.
Flop.
I'm gonna rest for a bit. I'm just gonna lay down right here. Suzuha used the last of her energy to reach the sofa. She collapsed on top of it and closed her eyes.
You fuckhead.
Ain't is a word because it is in the dictionary. And it's also a contraction of is not. It's vulgar argot, but it is in the dictionary.
So you're going to defend ain't but not irregardless?
Yep.
Even if I find you definitive proof,
Yep.
does it matter?
Nope.
Okay.
Not a bit.
So long as we know where we stand, we're good. I won't waste my time then, because I hate wasting my time.
Calm down, she told herself.
No!
My Yushi will bring a wet towel, okay? Hashida, where's Suza's change of clothes?
It's here. It's all inside this. Of course, I don't rummage through it and go sniff, sniff, you know.
Sniff, sniff is exactly what it is.
If you don't stop being stupid, I'll infect you with my cold virus, brother.
Suzuha kept her eyes shut as she complained.
Can I just pick something out to change her into?
Thanks. I can't do it, obviously.
Yeah.
As she listened to the conversation going on around her, Suzuha felt a cold towel on her forehead.
How do you feel?
Sorry, big sis Mayu.
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna go buy some cold medicine. You guys take care of her.
Okay. Bye.
He's being all fatherly.
Yeah, right. It's kind of weirding me out.
Can you stand up, Suza? I at least want to get you changed before your brother gets back.
You ain't never changed somebody on a couch laying down before?
No?
Suzuha
No.
opened her eyes. Yuki was standing over her and looking down.
No, I'm fine like this. This is how I've always done it.
In fact, before Suzuha became a time traveler, there were many times she'd been unable to rest, even if she was sick. Many times she wasn't able to change clothes or even lie down. Compared to that, this was a lot nicer.
No way. The most important part of a cold is when you just start to get it. But no buts. Take your clothes off. You baka.
Yuki was a little more forceful than usual as she tried to take Suzuha's clothes off.
Baka.
If you heard this completely out of context, this could be turned over to Chris Hansen too.
I mean, yeah, but they might be similar in age right now.
Suzuha jumped up surprised.
Fine, I'll do it. I can do it myself.
You're soaked with sweat. Mayuri, do you have any dry towels? Oh yeah, here.
Yuki took the towel that Mayuri had brought from the shower room and gently wiped the sweat off Suzuha's forehead and neck.
Oh, that tickles.
Just stay still. You're not a little kid.
But,
Suzuha shook as she was rubbed with the towel. She wasn't used to being touched, and this was the first time since she was very young that anyone had done this to her.
That's enough. I'll do it myself.
You don't need to worry about it.
I'm not worried.
Suzuha grabbed the towel from Yuki. Trying her best to hide herself from the gaze of the other two, she took off her clothes and wiped away the sweat. Her face felt really hot. She didn't know if it was because of the fever or not, but she was finding it difficult to think straight.
Is this okay?
Yes, good job. Now change into this.
She grabbed a new pair of underwear and clothes from Yuki. Still trying to hide herself, she put them on. When she lay back down on the sofa, Yuki put a blanket on her.
Mayuri, you said this room doesn't have a washer, right? Yeah, It's always been such a problem. My Yushi will take these to the laundromat later, okay? Huh? You don't have to do that. We've got to take care of each other at times like this. That's right, Suzu. Are you hungry? Think you can eat anything?
Poor Suzu was just like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Suzuha looked at Yuki, then Mayuri, and was about to mumble another refusal, but in the end she gave up and pulled the blanket up to her nose. This was really hard.
I'm not that hungry.
But you need to eat something before you take the medicine. How about rice porridge? That's a good idea. Okay, I'll make it right away. Lie down for a bit, okay?
Yeah.
Shut up and lay there. Okay. I'm back. Itaru came back from the drugstore a little while later. I'm so tired.
What'd you do, man? Run?
He was really out of breath. He must have gone running there and back. You're only exhausted because you never exercise, she thought to herself. But for some reason, the sight of her exhausted father made her happy, and she quickly shook her head.
Thanks, Daru. I'm about to make rice porridge. Once she has that, give her the medicine.
Okie dokie. Actually, it's hard to do that in that voice. Okie dokie.
I can only imagine.
How are you feeling?
Ugh. I would hate to wake up to that.
I love how everybody else stays in frame and Itaru goes out of frame, like on two sides.
Like, are we supposed to just imply that Daru's just that huge?
Yeah, I think so.
Not so good.
I guess all that stress caught up with you. I've never actually seen you take a break.
This is really pathetic.
Maybe.
Maybe I shouldn't stay here.
See,
What?
we will always do this because they... The first Steins Gate was really good about just making it pretty clear who said what. Then they decided to reanimate it a different way. Yeah. And now they open their mouth.
And, okay, seriously, Arcade Spirits was the best. Because everybody had a different color.
True, that did help a lot, too.
It was very, very easy to tell if I screwed up, or she screwed up, or one of us screwed up.
Or if we just both screwed up.
We still screwed up. But we didn't do quite as often.
We screwed up, but we screwed up our lines mostly.
What?
I've been getting lazy. You're here, Dad, and Big Sis Mayu is here, and Big Sis Rumi, and then at some point even Mom showed up. Oh dear.
Stop talking.
Because of that, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna forget my mission. It starts to feel like this happy time is going to continue forever. And I find myself thinking that maybe there will never be a war. I start to fantasize about living like a normal girl.
And what's wrong with that? When Daru spoke, his face was actually serious for once, and he was looking straight into Suzuha's eyes. It was the face of the father she knew so well, the man who was always there for her. So, you're gonna leave this place, and where are you going to go?
Well, inside the time machine or something.
You know you can't stay in there, right?
But...
You know I can't leave my daughter there, right?
Dad...
For a moment, Suzuha was about to cry. She squeezed the blanket as hard as she could to stop herself. And then...
He hugged her?
Whoops. I actually gave a serious response. Anyway, I like being around cute girls, and I look forward to going sniff sniff when you're not looking. I especially like girls who are all sick and sweaty.
Ugh, stop it.
So you ought to get better soon if you don't want me panting over you.
Yeah.
Suzuha whispered back a response, then turned away from Itaru and pulled the blanket closer. Oh, did my little speech just solve your problem? Did I get bonus affection points?
If you keep being stupid, I'll make you regret it when I do get better.
Are you gonna put on boots and step on me or something like that?
I'm going to stick things under your fingernails.
Please don't. Anything but that. Sorry. She could smell the pleasant scent of Mayuri and Yuki's cooking from the kitchen. Listen, Suzuha. Would you tell me what it is you're looking for every day? I might be able to help with it.
Later. I'll tell you once we're alone.
Oh yeah, that's fine, but...
It's not something I can let Big Sis Mayu hear.
Oh? Yeah, there was no way she could tell Mayuri.
Three days later.
3 days later. Alright, guys, that is it for this evening. I think we got a good place to stop here.
Hopefully.
Thank you once again for joining us on Argent Leftovers. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification icon, follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook, all of that good stuff so you know when we're going to go live, we're going to put up new videos. Make sure to buy our merchandise. It's down in the descriptions. And we thank you, Buzz, Groovy as always.
Buzz.
And everybody be well, be safe, and remember to eat your leftovers, and we will see you